Okay, so in today's class we are going to discuss about the class diagrams, which is coming under the structural view in UML. Now in previous class we have discussed about the user diagrams, which was under the user view, which was the central position in the UML. Now we are going to discuss about the class diagrams, which is the second one, that is coming under the structural view. Now what is the class diagram? So basically class diagram shows us the static structure of the system, as we have already discussed in our UML class, that this particular structure is not going to change with the instance of time, because this is the static structure of the UML. So this is basically the static structure of your UML. This is not going to change with time. Now how system structure is made, that is here basically we will discuss about how the whole system structure is made. And we have also discussed in that UML class that the whole structure of the system, when we are designing the system, the structure of the system is not going to change with time. So this whole structure, we are talking about the whole structure of the system, that is not going to change with time. So this is the basically this is the static structure. And here we are not going to discuss about the behavior, as I have already told you that the whole construction of a house, that will not change with time, but the behavior of the people who are inside the house, that can change with time. So that is the dynamic thing. When we are talking about the behavioral view, that you will see that there the whole thing will be dynamic, but here when we are talking about the structure of the system, that is not going to be dynamic, that will be static. So in our class diagram, which is the static, showing us the static structure of the system, here we are only going to see how my system is going to be structured, or how my system has been created, but we are not going to talk about the behavior of the system. Okay, because the behavior of the system, when it will come, it will be obviously it will be dynamic in nature. Here we are going to talk about static structure, right? So static structure, now what thing we are going to discuss in this static structure? So there are number of class diagrams and their relationships. Okay, here what we are going to discuss, how many class diagrams are there in a particular structure. When we are talking about a system, there will be many class diagrams, and those class diagrams we have already seen that in the structural view we are talking about two kind of diagrams. One was class diagram and second was object diagram. So in class diagram, what is going to be there? There are some classes. How many class diagrams are there and in the system, and what is the relationship between each and every class diagram? That whole thing is going to come under this structure, whole procedure, that is the static structure of the system. What is the static structure? What thing we are going to discuss inside this static structure, that is the different class diagrams and the relationship or the interaction between these particular class diagrams. This whole thing is going to be coming under your static structure, the whole structure of your system. Now number of class diagrams and their relationships. Okay, now other things are also there which are generalization, we will discuss afterward, aggregation, etc, etc, composition, inheritance, different things are there which we are going to make or show with the help of some symbols or with the help of some diagrams. These things are whatever things we are going to discuss under this class diagram. So basically class diagram is what? It is going to show you the whole static structure of your system, only the static structure. It is not going to show you about the behavior, that is the dynamic structure of your system, right? Now there first thing which we are going to talk about when we are discussing about the class diagrams, that is the classes. Now what are the classes? As you have already studied in Java also about the classes, inheritance, these all things. Now what are the classes in this case? Entities with common attributes and operations. Now what are attributes? Attributes are basically the property of your particular entity. Okay, so attributes with common operations, that is entities with common attributes and common operations. Whatever properties are there, entities means what? We have already seen entities means objects, different objects from our real life objects. So these objects, there we are talking here about their properties, different properties, that are called their attributes. Okay, now these properties, suppose if we are talking about a student, so what can be the properties of a student? Their roll number, their name, their date of birth, their classes, etc, etc. So these things are going to be the attributes or properties of your particular entity. So all the entities in a class, what we have, all the entities which have a common attribute, as well as they will have a common operation, that is they are going to function same the function of the entities will be same. So these two kinds of things, when we are talking about the common entity, common attribute and common operation of an entity, that thing is going to be called as a class. Here entities with common attributes and operations. Now when we are talking about these entities with common attributes and operations, we will obviously mark it with some symbols, since it's a diagram, so some symbols will be there. They are solid rectangle with outlines, and name is written in bold inside the rectangle. Second thing, begins with uppercase. Whenever we are going to write the names, it is going to begin with uppercase, and it will have some mixed cases. It can have some upper cases as well as your lower cases, but it will obviously start with a uppercase. In class, whenever you are going to discuss about the class, whenever you are going to show a class in a diagram, there you have to write the name of the classes. First letter will be a uppercase letter, then the other letters can be uppercase or then can be lowercase letters. Okay, so this is what is there in the, here you can see like this, we have to write those things. Now what are attributes? Now we are talking about the attributes. So your class diagram is complete. Now classes are complete. Now attributes, I have already told you that an attribute is a property of the entity. Whatever entity, suppose if you are talking about a student, if this is my student entity, okay, then it will have some attributes. The attributes will be, it's their name, then their roll number, etc, etc. So these will be their attributes. Okay, so attributes are basically the property of the entities, property of a particular class. Since here we are talking about the classes, so it will be the property of a particular class. Now what things are there, what thing we are going to discuss about there, what kind of things we can use as the entity of a particular attribute, what can be there in the attribute section, what things we can write there, their type, the initial value, etc, etc can be there. Now first letter should be small there. Whenever you are going to write the name of the particular attribute, there the first letter will be a small letter, not a capital letter. In the case of our classes, we were starting with a uppercase letter, but here when you are talking about the attributes, you have to start with a lowercase letter. Okay, now let's see what will be the example of an attribute, what kind of thing. Okay, so when we are writing an attribute, it will be like this: book name, and then a colon and string. So what is this? This string is, this is the type of attribute, the data type of attribute. Okay, so this is the type of it. What kind of book name means, what kind of attribute is this? So the type of attribute, that is, it's a string kind of attribute. Since I am writing some characters, so it's a string type of attribute. Here book name, I am starting this with a small letter. Book name, this will be the whole thing, this is the name of my particular attribute, but this is the string, that is my type of attribute. This is the type of attribute. So after writing the name of the attribute, I have to give a colon and then write the type of my attribute. This is the thing how we write a particular attribute in our class diagrams. Whenever you are going to discuss about the name of a particular class, so you have to write like this: the attribute name and then the type of your attribute, but in between you have to give a colon sign. Now this is what is there in the attribute section. Okay, now next thing, so your attribute is completed. Classes will begin with the upper class letter and attributes will begin with a smaller letter, that is a lower class letter. Okay, now fourth one is operation, that is implementation of a service that can be requested from any object of a class. Operation means what? Operation means obviously a service, whatever service you are going to give. So whatever implementation of a service when it is called by an object of a class, that is called your operation. Now here we are talking about the operation, how it will be denoted or how it will be written when you are writing about a class diagram, when you are using there. So how we will write there? That is issue book. Okay, then here issue book, we are starting again, we are starting with a small letter, that is a lower class letter, and issue book. Issue book is the whole name of my operation, that is I am going to issue the book. Okay, so this is what is the operation there. I am doing a function, I am doing some work, that I am issuing a book. That is my name of my operation, correct? So the name of the operation will start with a small letter, that is a lower class letter. Then what we have to write? We have to write a parameter in, that is book name. This is the name of my attribute, and boolean. Here boolean is my return type. Okay, this is the return type. So this is the syntax of writing a particular operation. What is the syntax? First I will write about the name of my operation, what kind of function I am going to, or what kind of service I am going to deliver. What service I am going to deliver? That is issuing a book. So this whole name will be starting with a lowercase letter, right? Then we have to write a parameter. This is a parameter. There can be three kinds of parameter, that is in, out, or in out. Okay, so these are the three kinds of parameter which can be used in case of this. So since I am writing here in, means inside this book name, whenever I am writing the attribute, what kind of issuing the book, what kind of book I am going to write, so this book name will be inside the attribute, that is the book name attribute. Attribute I have already discussed. So whenever I am going to issue a book, obviously there will be some kind of attribute which I am going to discuss about. So that will be inside this particular attribute. So this is the book name, is my name of my attribute, and inside means in this book particular. So this is my parameter which I am going to use to show in which thing, outside or inside, that is going to be shown with this help of this parameter. And then the name of your attribute, again a colon sign, and boolean. Boolean is what? That is my return type. What kind of thing I am going to get? Boolean will be my return type, that whether issuing the book, what kind of book I am going to issue, whether I am going to issue that one, that book is there or not. So the return type will be in boolean. So this is how we are going to write about a particular operation. This will also start with the lowercase letter, as in the particular attribute also is small letter, but in the classes only we are going to start with the uppercase letter. So this is what there in the operation section. Now next section is our association section. Now what is this in association section? This is the connection between two classes. When I am talking about the class diagrams, obviously I am talking about some classes. So what is the connection between two classes? That particular connection is going to be shown by a association. Okay, so how we are going to show that one? That is also going to be shown with the help of some particular diagram. Okay, now how we are going to show that one? Here, this is the association I am going to show like this. This is my library member. This is a particular library member which I am writing. Okay, this is a library member, particular entity is there. Now what is going to be there? Like this, a connection I am showing between the library member and my book. Then so library member is there, now book is there. Now what thing I have to write there, in what is the special thing which you have to see? Whenever we are going to write this thing, some special syntax have to be denoted there. Okay, that is what is the maximum and the minimum and maximum values which I am going to use here. That I have to write in between. This is the connection line. This is my connection line. Okay. So this is the connection between a library member and book. There is some connection. That I know. Now what kind of connection is there? Some special syntax will show you that particular connection. So you have to take care that what kind of connection you are going to show. So here we have to, first of all, we have to show here what is the connection here. Okay, so connection, what can be the connection between the library member and a book? Borrowed by. A library member can borrow, that is borrowed by. This is my connection now. Then, now I have to elaborate that one. What connection? Library member, book, then this is borrowed by. Borrowed by is the connection between this. Now I have to elaborate that what kind of connection, what is going on between this, borrowed by what. Now what you have to show, you have to give an arrow sign for, that is how the reading direction is going to be there. You have to show the reading direction, that how I am going to read this particular thing. Okay, so here what, book will be borrowed by the library member. Library member cannot be borrowed by a book. Borrowed by book will be borrowed by a library member. So what kind of arrow I am going to use? The arrowhead will be like this. So here when you are going to write the relationship or what is the connection, first of all you have to see what is the connection between these two entities. Now when I am connecting these two classes, here the classes, so what kind of connection? Not only that one, in which direction the connection will be going, how I am going to read that one. Okay, how I am going to read this particular statement, that is very important here. So you obviously have to see at what direction the arrowhead will go. Then, so book will be borrowed by the library member, so my arrowhead will be obviously going in this direction. This is my arrowhead. Then now the relationship is whatever connection is, that is clear. Now what? Now one more thing. How many library members I am talking about, and how many books can be borrowed by a particular library member, that is also very important, because not only when I am going to elaborate anything, so I have to write each and every detail of that one, right? So what detail? Here I will write of one. What is this one? One means one library member. I am talking about one library member. Done. Now when I am talking about one library member, then I have to show how many books now. So here what, one thing, you can write the number of books. Suppose a library member can have 2 books, or a library member can have 3 books. But here what happens, whenever you are not sure about the number of books, that how many books can be borrowed by a particular library member. So in that case, here in class diagrams, we use a special sign, that is an asterisk sign, like this. This means, this asterisk sign means 0 to more than 0, that is anything, any number. So this asterisk sign will show you from this to this. So this particular sign you will write there where you are not able to show or you are not able to tell the number of books there. So their asterisk sign is being used. So now when we are done with this, now how we are going to read this one? A library member, there are some books, there are number of books, any number of books. So any number of books can be borrowed by one library member. If you want to write 2 number of books, so here you will write 2 number of books can be taken by a library member, one library member. So this is what the whole thing will be reading like. This is my reading direction also I am showing here. I am showing here the entities, I am showing here what is the connection between them, as well as I am showing here the number of minimum and maximum number. You can write also like this also, minimum or maximum number you can write like this also, 1 dot dot 2, that 1 to 5 or 1 to 4, like this also you can write. But here we are writing asterisk since I cannot tell here number of books, so I am just giving asterisk sign, which is showing me that this any number of books can be borrowed by a particular library member. So many books can be borrowed by a particular library member. This is the meaning of this whole line. So you have to write the name of the entity classes first, then you have to connect between the classes, you have to give a particular name of that connection, then you have to write that how this connection is going on, how you are going to read that one. You have written, now you have to read that one, the sequence of the reading. Then what you have to see, that how many members and how many books. So minimum and maximum, if you want to write some minimum maximum, then you can write like this, 1:5, that is 1 up to 5. But here asterisk means that any number of. So we usually write here like this, asterisk, that this much, that is it can be more than 1, 0 to more than 1. So this is the thing how we are going to write the association relation. Okay, this association will be written like this only. So this is the whole procedure to show the connection between two particular classes. Here the main thing, which is the main symbol, that is the arrowhead symbol, which will be the empty arrowhead symbol, which will show you the reading sequence. Not here no data flow or nothing is shown. Here only the reading sequence is shown by the arrowhead, and you have to see the numbers of these particular relations. So these numbers are going to be very important for you, and asterisk is written there where you are not able to describe about how many numbers. Then clear? Now this is what is there in the association. Now we will read about aggregation. What is aggregation? This is again a particular we are going to discuss about some class diagram. So here also, so aggregation is also one kind of relation which is going to describe there in the class diagram. Now what in aggregation? Aggregation means classes are not associated with each other, but whole part relation exists between them. They are not associated, but like suppose if you are creating a particular order. Okay, here what is going there? Now suppose like this. Okay, let's see, document. Now here I am writing about some document, right? Now here one sign you have to show, that is a diamond sign like this, and this will be an empty diamond sign, right? Now from this again you have to write a relation, again a particular thing, that is here paragraph. This is paragraph. Okay, again I have to give a empty diamond sign, again lines. Now what thing I am going to see? Aggregation means what? Aggregate, your marks aggregate. What is your marks aggregate? Whole marks, what you are going to get. So here aggregation means what? You have to show the whole aggregate of your marks, the whole thing, whatever there is. So aggregation means here what I am going to show, this diamond sign, this sign basically shows the aggregation. Okay, aggregation relation will be shown with this diamond sign. Okay, now what thing I am going to show here? Documents. Now what is documents? Documents are aggregation of paragraphs. Okay, when we are writing so many paragraphs, the collection of paragraphs is known as documents. When you are talking about document, what is there in your document? Just some paragraphs are there in your document. So aggregation of paragraphs are documents. So I have to show that with the help of, again I have to show some symbols, so that I can show you what kind of connection is there, what things are going to aggregate to give a particular thing. So when I am talking here, if I am, my reading sequence will be like this. Now I have to write here again line. Now what are paragraphs? Paragraphs are aggregation of some lines. When I am merging some lines, I am getting a paragraph. When I am merging some paragraphs, I am getting a particular document. So this relationship I have to show with the help of some symbols, right? So symbols will be same, which we have discussed earlier. Now but just we have to use that in a particular sequence, and the signs will be different. Sign is what? This diamond sign, which will show the aggregation function. Now what I have to write here? How many lines? Number of lines, many lines, right? Many lines will give what? A paragraph, that is one paragraph. This is the thing. Again what? Many paragraphs will give me a particular document, right? So this is the reading sequence which I have to read like this. Basic sequence, what is the basic symbol here? That is an empty diamond symbol which will show or which will denote the sign of aggregation. This is the main thing here, basic thing. Now the other things are what? Same to same. When I am aggregating some lines, I am getting a paragraph, and when I am aggregating some paragraphs, then I am getting a document. But here I am not sure about how many lines I am going to aggregate so that I am going to get a paragraph, and again I am not sure about how many paragraphs I am going to aggregate or collect so that I am going to get a document. So in that case, again what we have to write, we have to give a asterisk sign for that thing. So here I am using asterisk sign for number of lines. There are so many number of lines, more than 1 or more than 0. So that will include what? To a particular paragraph. Again, about so many paragraphs, so asterisk sign, that will give me a particular document. So this is what is there in the aggregation relation or aggregation thing. So under this thing, the main thing which you have to focus about is the diamond, that is will be the empty diamond, since in the next thing we will see about a not an empty diamond and non-empty diamond. So here we are talking about an empty diamond for aggregation relation. Now next one is your composition. Okay, so this is done. Acha, one more thing here, if you want to show that, if I want to show that here I am showing but one document will contain what? Some asterisk number, the many number of paragraphs, and one paragraph will show what? Many number of lines. Okay, but if I want to denote that I have 10 number of lines, for me 10 number of lines will give me a paragraph. If I am saying like that, then what? You will show like this, that 10 number of paragraphs lines will give me a paragraph. So in that case you have to write like this. This is your line, okay, and this is the diamond, again the diamond sign like this, and here the paragraph. In that case what you have to write like this, you have to write one paragraph is okay, and here in line you will write 10 lines. Then if you want to write 9 lines, in for you, if 9 lines are giving you a paragraph, then you will write there 9. If 1000 lines are giving you a paragraph, so that number you have to write like this. But if the number is unknown, that you are not sure about the number of lines which is going to give you a paragraph, in that case you have to write here a particular asterisk sign. Then same for everything, same for every relation which we are going to discuss today. If you are sure about that thing, you can write the particular number. But if you are not sure, then you have to write the asterisk sign. It's very easy, so that you can give any number of lines, or any number you can discuss that one. Okay, so this is what is there in the aggregation. Now we are going to talk about composition. What is there in composition? A stricter form of aggregation. Okay, aggregation we have seen, that is collection. Whatever we are going to get the collection or whole as a whole. Okay, now in composition, what that is the stricter, more stricter form of our aggregation. Parts are existence dependent on whole. Like when I am talking about a particular order, we do some order. Suppose some online shopping you are doing, you are giving a particular order. Okay, now in that case, when you are giving a particular order of some items, what we give about order? Some items. In composition, what will happen when I am giving a particular order to a particular company? At that time, what will happen when I am creating an order, particular order? In that order, if I am writing about some grocery items, okay. So when I am creating the order, with that order created, suppose 10 grocery items I am giving, so those 10 grocery items are also created. But if I want to cancel that one, I want to cancel a particular thing in my grocery items, it is not done. It is not possible there. I have to cancel the whole order as a whole. When I am cancelling the whole order, these whole items will definitely die, already they will be cancelled. So I have to show here with the help of this particular diamond, that is a fulfilled diamond, right? So this diamond will show you that this is a composition relation, and an empty diamond will show you an aggregation relation. Clear? That's why I have told you there that you have to see these particular symbols very carefully, right? So here an empty diamond is there for aggregation, and a fulfilled diamond will be there for the composition relation. Now, what thing we are talking about is here is when I am creating an order, in that order I am giving the name of some items. So after creating, when the order is created, all the items are definitely created. But if I want to change some items from there, if I want to destroy some items, it is not justified. I cannot do that one here. I have to cancel the whole order to cancel my items. If I have given the order, I have given some items, I have given 5 items, but now I don't need any item from that one. So it is here, you cannot do that one, that you cannot just go and delete the particular item. You have to destroy the whole thing. So what the main thing is there, that is you have to create, when you are creating the order, the items are normally they are already created, but when you are destroying the order, the whole items will also get destroyed. So it is working as a whole, not as a portion of thing. So the main what is the definition, that is parts are existence dependent on whole. The existence of the parts or existence of all the items is what, as a whole, that is as a whole order. You cannot specifically, or you cannot just take anything as an individual one. Here when we are talking about composition, composition means what? Composing something. So composition means as a whole. When you are talking about the composition relation, that means as a whole I am talking about. And I cannot just do anything with a individual item. Neither I can join an individual item, or neither I can destroy an individual item. Whenever I am creating the order as a whole, the order will definitely have all the items which I am giving. Again, when I want to cancel, so again to cancel this particular item, you have to cancel the whole order. This is what happens in our day-to-day life, that is in our online shopping also. You have seen there also that whenever you are creating an order, they write that this and this order, and now we are going to pack your items. Then you cannot just add anything in your packing. You have to, if you want to delete that one, you have to delete as a whole. One order created, you cannot add an individual item in there. Also, you cannot delete an individual item from your order. You have to create a whole order. Also, you have to cancel the whole order for cancelling a particular thing. So this is what is there in the composition relation. Now again, how we have to write there, that is one order created will have this much asterisk sign, that is this much any number of items. So whenever this particular order is created, these items are naturally they are also created. But if this order is destroyed, then only these items will also get destroyed. But I cannot destroy an item from this particular item thing. Okay, there are a number of items. You can also write here 10 items. 10 items you can write here like this also. 10 items. So definitely what will happen here? 10 items are there. Now, if I want to cancel from these 10 items, it is not possible. If you are creating the order, naturally these things will be also created. Then these items are also created. They are also ordered. But if I want to destroy something from there, so I cannot just destroy one particular item from my order. I have to destroy the whole order. Then only I can destroy the items also. So this is the thing what you have to write here. That is my asterisk sign. This is any number of items can be in your order. Main thing is what? Main thing is that here as a whole I have to think the system as a whole. I have to think the whole system as a single one. Whatever things are there in between, the items, whatever things are there in between that particular thing, you cannot just destroy or create them individually. You have to create them as a whole, you have to destroy them as a whole. So this is what is there in your composition relation. That clear? Now next one is inheritance. So the main thing which you have to focus on, main and very important thing you have to focus on, these signs are same. This sign is also same and this is same, but it is empty and it is filled. Okay, so this thing you have to very carefully, you have to see this one. That is, in case of aggregation, the diamond will be empty. But in case of your composition, which is a stricter form of your aggregation, there the diamond symbol will be filled one. That is black or filled one. So this thing you have to keep in mind. It is very important. If this symbol is going to be interchanged, then your whole thing will be destroyed. Okay, so this is the main thing. Now next we are going to talk about the inheritance one. What is the inheritance relation? So basically here arrow pointer is the main thing. From subclass to superclass. Now what is subclass? Subclass is that class which is going to, that is the child class. You can also say it as a child class. Okay, so subclass is, now let's see here in detail. Okay, the subclass is our child class and parent class is the superclass, which is here we are going to discuss now. Inheritance also we have seen in Java also. Multiple inheritance, multi-level inheritance, single inheritance, many things we have seen. Same thing is here also. So here what is there? Arrowhead is the main thing. Here if I am talking about a library book. Now this is what? This is my superclass. That is my parent class. Okay. So subclass to superclass. Superclass is my parent class, which is going to be inherited by the child classes. Now for inheritance, I am here two types of inheritance I am going for. That is one arrowhead for a particular relation. This is one and this is two. Again here again a arrowhead and two relations. That is one and this is two. So this is what? These are my subclasses. These things are my subclasses. Okay, subclasses, and that is our child classes. So what they are going to do? They are going to inherit from. So my arrowhead is going like this. Since this is the subclasses, the arrowhead will be from subclass to superclass. Then here library book. Now what kind of library book? What is going on here? First thing, that is issuable. And this is reference. Okay, so issuable and reference, these are the two things which is going to be inherited. Now what kind of inheritance? That is, here I will write that issue single volume book. Here I am going to issue a single volume book. This is one subclass. Second one, issuable book set. So here I am talking about a particular book set. Again here reference single volume book, and here reference book set. So this is what thing is there in case of my library book. So this is my issuable book and this is my reference book. One book which I am going to issue, which I can take from the library, which I can issue from the library, and one which you can use as a reference book, but you cannot issue that one. Then, so this is the what thing is there in these subclasses and superclasses. This thing is going to be shown with this inheritance relation. Now what is there? These are my child classes. These are all my child classes. That is the subclasses. So what is this? Issuing a single volume book. I can issue a single volume book, one book, or I can issue a total book set. These are my subclasses, child classes. Now what thing they are going to inherit? They are inheriting everything from the library, that is issuable. They are going to get from the library book. So they are inheriting the character of the superclass. So what kind of thing they are going to? Single book, book set. What thing? That is a library book. So this is the main class. They are going to inherit the details from this particular thing. So the library book can be single book or book set for issuable one. Now if I am talking about the reference book, so reference again single volume book or the book set. So here what we are seeing, these subclasses are inheriting some features from the superclass, parent class. What is the feature? Main feature is what? Issuing this book, issuing that book, single volume book, book set, reference book set, single reference books, book set, reference book. So these are what? basically these are having the main character or the main feature, that is they are a library book. So this particular feature is being inherited by these two things, these subclasses. So this whole thing is going to be shown with the help of inheritance relation. You can show anything, any number of subclasses you can take, and you have to show the main parent class, what is your superclass. So here the main thing which is going to be shown, that is this arrowhead. Arrowhead will always going from subclass to superclass. It can never come down. Okay, that is all the whatever characters or whatever features are going here just be inherited from the superclass. This arrowhead will show that these subclasses are going to inherit from the superclass. So wherever you are showing the arrowhead, that will definitely denote or that will point to the superclass, and the end of the arrow will show you the subclasses. So this is basically what is there in your inheritance relation. Complete. So here again child classes are there, any number of child classes you can have, and those child classes will have a superclass. So you have to just show the main thing which you have to focus here is the arrowhead. It will go from the subclass to superclass, from lower thing to the upper thing, that is subclass to superclass. Okay, so here it is the details of your inheritance relation. Now next we are going to talk about dependency relation. In dependency what happens, one thing it will just, it's just a definition only, you can see here, that is dependent class. Here we are going to denote it by like this with the help of an dotted arrow. In inheritance what was there, it was a full arrow. Here will be superclass, here will be subclass. So this is what is in case of inheritance. Now in case of your dependency, when you are showing the dependency, this class is dependent on that class. So here when you are writing about that one, so obviously you have to show it with another arrow, that is a dotted line arrow. Okay, so here what, here will be your dependent class. Dependent class, this is my dependent class, and the here what is there, that is the independent class. Okay, independent class. So what thing dependent, suppose we write here like this, is my student will be dependent on the teacher. This can be example. Since the students are dependent on the student is the dependent class and teacher is the independent class. Then so here this thing will show the relation. It will go from dependent class to independent class. Okay, so this will go from dependent class to the independent class. This is the thing which will be shown with the help of this dotted arrow. And here also the arrowhead is very important. The arrowhead will show you the independent class, and the arrow tail or the end of the arrow, it will show you the dependent class. Which thing is dependent on which thing. So this is what basically is there in the dependence relation. And the last one is what, that is the constraints. Constraints are basically what, either a condition that needs to be satisfied or integrity rule for an entity. Okay, this can either be a condition which have to be satisfied in case of class diagrams, any condition which have to be satisfied, okay, important rule, or it can be integrity rule for an entity, any entity. When I am talking about an entity here, it will be a class. So any integrity rule for that particular entity, that is shown with the help of constraints. What kind of thing can be there? Used to describe aspects such as permissible set of values of an attribute. Suppose if I am having a particular entity, I have a permissible value, that's this number of attributes I can have. If I am having a student entity, then suppose 5 attributes I can have, a permissible amount of attributes, that is 5 attributes I can have. So this permissible value, this can be shown, I can give it as a constraint, that this is my constraint, up to this value it is permissible, but against this value, above this value, it is not taken. So this is my constraint. Or pre or post conditions of any operation. When I am talking about any operation, there can be precondition, there can be a post condition. So these conditions I can also take as a constant. That and definitions of ordering of the items. When I am giving some writing the name of the items, then definition of that ordering of the items. What kind of items I can write in the front and what kind of items I can write right the last. So these also I can write in under the constant. So constant are basically what? They are some rules, some kinds of rules which are made, which have to be obeyed by your class diagrams. So these are the whole thing which is included in your class diagram. That is under your structural view. Now next which is present there, that is the object diagrams. We will talk about that one in different class, next class. So up to this, whatever thing was there in your class diagram, if you have any kind of query, you just write to the query section at the comment section, and I will definitely try to give you the answer. And if you have any kind of suggestions, you can also write that one to my comment section. And if you like my channel, please give a like so that I can give more videos, and subscribe my channel so that I can give more videos on the technical sections and our software engineering topic. So till then, take care and goodbye.